Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. It's so good to see you. Like,
I know
we just had a conversation, but I'm still like super excited.
I know. We need to do this more often.
We do. Yeah, we'll get our tea.
Right? Exactly. So, how have you been since graduation?
Oh my gosh, I'm so good. I was so blessed to have a job before graduation, so getting out into the real world wasn't a huge struggle. And I hate saying that because like I know that that isn't the case for a lot of people, but yeah, it's been real good.
Good.
And I'm excited for everyone else too. I feel like we learned so much in JDM that it won't be hard for any of us to get jobs, you know.
Yeah.
Those who are like committed and do their work.
Speaking of JDM, what is your favorite experience now that you've had like a couple months to kind of reflect on your time, your collegiate time?
Marinate.
Marinate.
Yeah, my favorite experience, it's kind of like a lot wrapped into one, and it's running graphics for sports. I think was like my all-time, and like I know we worked together on that.
Yes.
And we learned so much. You probably learned, I mean, honestly, like more terminology and stuff, but I really miss freezing in a truck. And like I never thought I'd say that before, but like it sounds super weird, but like you learn so much. And the master of controls at AU, John Scrata, important to note that he is not a professor, but he taught me so much in that truck about like just, I mean, obviously how to run the equipment, but life and the people that he would bring in to help us like direct and do audio and stuff like that. He just brought in really good mentors, and I think I've learned a lot from them. So that would definitely be just one of my favorite experiences at JDM, because like you're there to learn and do your job, but you have fun while doing it. And I think that's really, really special when you can do all those things in one.
Yeah. I can't look at Jeannie Knows Pizza and Dr. Pepper without thinking of doing graphics for sports.
I know. Well, and it's funny because he'd bring in students. Like it would be not a student-run production, but a lot of the crew was students, and he would just bring in like I met people through running the graphics, but I also like got to know so many people so much better. And like one year we traveled to Chicago for basketball, and I learned so much about them, and it was just so fun. And I walked out of there with so many friends, and I hope the same for the future classes if we get this, or if they get the same opportunities because of the pandemic. But
so what skills that you learned in JDM have you been able to kind of implement into the workforce?
Well, this is common sense, but I feel like even when I was there at AU, and even not in my job is we're like, we know what to do. We're very set, but just if you're going to say you're going to do something, then do it. You know, it's just, it sounds like, oh, well, duh. But I mean, there's just so many, and it's easy to like forget about something. But I think one thing that I learned at school was how to like prioritize and really organize my life. So like a day by day life, and I could get in a routine, and just finding that routine at AU really helped me in my workforce life. But strictly speaking about like skills that I learned, I think you learn a lot of what you need to know your freshman year, and then you build on it. And you don't take a class to build on those skills. You take a class to learn new things to like incorporate, and you just kind of build on those skills by yourself as you go. I don't know, does that make sense? Yes. I feel like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like repetition, it's practice.
Exactly. Like I can teach you like how to run graphics machine, but maybe you'll learn how to like change the font by yourself, or like maybe you'll learn how to like turn it on and off by yourself. And it's just little things that really add up. And they're just, and I'm talking about TV, and I work for a newspaper, but it's the same thing. Like, like you know, you can start writing your freshman year, and then you'll just kind of be around your peers, and then you'll learn things that bump you up to assistant editor your sophomore year, and then news editor your junior year, and then, you know, editor for AU Live the next year. And it's just all because you've done that process so many times, you've read so many articles, and you've learned from other people's mistakes too. So, I mean, I think all of that just kind of, in my 3.5 years at AU, that really just helped me get through AU and get to this job.
Yeah. And what advice do you have for current JDM students?
It's a lot. Your girl's got a couple points. One of them, I mean, definitely just, like, again, if you make a commitment, show up. If say you're going to go to a show and you're going to run graphics for the show, or you're going to do camera, whatever, for a TV 20 show, then do it. Mm-hmm. Apparently you have this time, you know, just do it. It's not going to hurt you at all. Same with, you know, articles. Just, if you make a commitment, keep it. And I cannot stress that enough, because that doesn't fly in the real world. Like, I'm about to sign on to my morning meeting for the newspaper, and if I say, oh yeah, no, I got caught up with my other stuff, I just didn't have time to write it, but like, they're counting on it for today, you know. It's just something you just have to get used to, just like anything else. Another piece of advice that I have for JDM students is just keep an open mind. And it's like, I know everyone says that, like, oh, just keep an open mind when you go to college, you never know. But I vividly remember walking into room 137 in CFA, which is the main JDM room, like the conference room. And Dave, Dr. McCoy, was taking me on a tour, junior in high school. And he looks at me and he goes, yeah, you can write for that newspaper. And I looked at it and I said, I will not be doing that. And because I just, like, junior in high school, I just, like, thought I had my life figured out. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to write for TV. And it turns out you can't do that if you're not talent. And I was not talent, so I did not write for TV. But I ended up being editor, and now I work for a newspaper. So, like, you never know. So definitely keep an open mind. And then third, just get involved as soon as you can, even if it's just like hanging out in the background, like kind of just like peeping over someone's shoulder, just like looking in the viewfinder in the camera. I mean, I'm sure with the pandemic there are restrictions now, but just find a way to, like, or even just watching the shows. Like, you can see people on the floor just by watching the shows on YouTube and reading things on AU Live, listening to RDL. You can still get that experience, I think, without being in the studio. So definitely just get involved. You never know what's going to happen. You can be editors as a sophomore if you earn it. And I think that should definitely be a goal for people to earn their way, instead of thinking, you know, coming into college like, oh, I know all this stuff already, no one can teach me anything.
Yeah.
And just having that, my mind is a gate, it is closed, it is gorilla glued. Don't do that. Wash the gorilla glue out of your hair and keep an open mind.
Exactly. So for JDM students like myself, I'm going to be graduating soon.
Yes, you are. Round of applause for all the seniors, claps, whatever you want to do. Oh my, God bless you guys. I can't. Ooh, God bless you.
What advice do you have for me as I go out into the real world?
Well, I would 100% start applying for jobs now. And like, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not really sure how my current employer got my resume. I think we make portfolios in JDM, right? And that's a website and it's online. So definitely keep that updated, because I think she might have seen the portfolio and then she emailed me and she was like, hey, we have an opening. But I applied to like 10 or 15 jobs outside of Ohio during school, actually, before it might have been a little bit after the pandemic started. But you just got to like get on Indeed, make that Indeed account, make that LinkedIn account, and just bite the bullet and do it, because you never know what you're going to find. Like, there's an alum, Sam Didion, and they saw Ashland and they were like, oh, Ashland, Oregon? She goes, no, Ashland, Ohio. but she went for Oregon, and now my girl's living in a different time zone and killing it on TV. Like, you never know what's going to happen. So my advice would just be, put your stuff out there, give it a couple days, and also, I mean, you're seniors, so you should have thick skin anyway, but like, learn to get rejected. It's definitely just part of the process. I think every single job, and granted it wasn't like entry level, and also no one wants you out of college. That's just a really like blunt way to say it, but there's not a lot of companies who are going to take a chance on like some fresh out of college kid, no matter how much experience you have. So if you need to start small, then start small and then just work your way up. You're not in school anymore. You don't have anything to like keep you from that. You don't have like that psychology midterm you need to study for or anything.
Yeah.
So definitely just put everything you have into that job once you get it. And I'm definitely getting ahead of myself. But yeah, my main advice would just be put everything out there. And I mean, you've been involved for 4 years. Let's show it off.
Yeah.
Show your growth.
Coming out. Oh,
Vogue it.
Vogue it. Vogue it. JDM Vogue.
Oh my gosh, what a fall. Okay.
Is there anything else that you would like to add?
Just thank you to everyone. Thank you to my professors and my friends. I wish everyone the best of luck. And I know they're going to be fine because we have very strong heads of the department. And I say we like I'm still there. You guys have very strong heads of the department. I know just like Dave and John, like, I don't know if they're going to be watching this, but I just want to like say from the bottom of my heart, like, thank you. The life experiences, and it's not even teaching in a class. It's just like sitting down. Sorry, I talked a lot on the phone yesterday. Anyway, just sitting down and talking about like your life experiences, I think really helped me and just kind of shaped the way that it might go for me. Like John would talk about in the olden days when MTV still had music. He was like, oh yeah, I used to like do stuff for them. And he'd tell us about that, or Dave would tell us about, you know, his awards that are in his office that I guess no one knows about, but I feel like people should know about that. And he asked him about those experiences because the man is so talented. And yeah, they set you straight when you want to, and when you're committed and they see that you're committed, they really help you. And I definitely wouldn't be there without them or my wonderful friends who I edit with at 3 a.m. Which, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
You know,
it's the life we chose.
No, it really is though.
I know, right?
Journalists work some weird hours, and you just got to get used to it. But yes, thank you to everyone who helped me through that, including you, Alayna. I love you, and I miss everyone there, and I hope everyone's doing fantastic. And also best of luck to the freshmen who probably can't participate as much as they want to. It'll get better. Just take this experience and apply it for future years when you can get in the studio and you can do your shows and all that. So
awesome. Well, thank you so much for doing this with me.
Thank you for having me again.
Right.
I got up before 7.
I know.
I mean, what a day. Like, I could just
this was the
what a day
of my morning.
What was it? It was like, who thought we'd be here? Yeah. Not me.
Not me. Look at us. Who would have thought?
Look at us.
Not me. Well, thank you, Christine.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.